나는 healed of leprosy. Now, 나는 who was commander of army of the king of Aram. He was great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. He was a valiant soldier, but he had leprosy. Now, bands of raiders from Aram had gone out and had, had taken captive a young girl from Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "If only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." Naaman went to his master and told him that the girl from Israel had said, "By all means go." The king of Aram replied, "I will send a letter to king of Israel." So Naaman left, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. The letter that he took the king of Israel read, "With this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you, so that you may cure him of his leprosy." As soon as the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his robe and said, "Am I God? Can I kill and bring back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be cured of his leprosy? See how he is trying to pick quarrel with me." When Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes, he sent him this message: "Why have you torn your robes? Have the man come to me, and he will know that there is prophet in Israel." So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to say to him, "Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be cleaned." But Naaman went away angry and said, "I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of his God, wave his hands over and cure me of my leprosy." But are not Abana and Parpa, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the water of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned and went up in a rage. Now Naaman's servant went to him and said, "My father, if the prophet has told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he tells you, wash and be cleansed?" So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. The Naaman and all his attendants went back to the man of God. He stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel, so please accept gift from your servant." The prophet answered, "As sure as the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not accept the thing." And even though Naaman urged him, he refused. "If you will not," said Naaman, "please let me, your servant, be given as much earth as a pair of mule can carry, for your servant will never again make burnt offering and sacrifice to any other god but the Lord." But may the Lord forgive your servant for this one thing. When my master enters the temple of Rimmon to bow down, and he is leaning on my arm, and I have to bow there also. When I bow down in the temple of Rimmon, may the Lord forgive your servant for this. Go in peace, Elisha said. After Naaman had traveled some distance, Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said to himself, "My master was too easy on Naaman. This I mean, by not accepting from him what he votes. As sure as the Lord lives, I will run after him and get something from him." So Gehazi hurried after Naaman. When Naaman saw him running toward him, he got down from the chariot to meet him. "Is everything all right?" he asked. "Everything is all right," Gehazi answered. "My master sent me to say, 2 young men from the company of the prophet have just come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 sets of clothing. By all means, or take 2 talents," said Naaman. He urged Gehazi to accept them, and then tied up the 2 talents of silver in 2 bags. With 2 sets of clothing, he gave them to 2 of his servants, and they carried them ahead of Gehazi. When Gehazi came to the hill, he took the things from the servant and put them away in a house. He sent the men away, and they left. When he went in and stood before his master, Elisha asked him, "Where have you been, Gehazi?" "Your servant didn't go anywhere," Gehazi answered. But Elisha said to him, "Was not my spirit with you when the man got down from his chariot to meet you? Is this the time to take money, or to accept clothes, or olive groves and vineyard, or flock and herd, or male and female slaves? Naaman's leprosy will cling to you and to your descendants forever." The Gehazi went from Elisha's presence, and his skin was leprous. It had become as white as snow. An axe had flushed. The company of the prophets said to Elisha, "Look, the place where we meet with you is too small for you. Let us to go Jordan, where each of us can get far, and let us build a place there for us to meet." And he said, "Go." Then one of them said, "Won't you please come with your servant?" "I will," Elisha replied. And he went with them. They went to the Jordan and began to cut down trees. As one of them was cutting down a tree, the iron axe fell into the water. Of them was cutting down a tree, the iron axe fell into the water. "Oh no, my lord," he cried out. It was broad. The man of God asked, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick and threw in there, and the iron flood lifted it out, he said. Then the man reached out his hand and took it. Elisha traps blinded armies. Now the king of Aram was at war with Israel. After comparing with his officer, he said, "I will set up my camp in such and such a place." The man of God sent word to the king of Israel, "Beware of passing of that place, because the Arameans are going down tree." So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. Time and again, Elisha warned the king so that he was not on his guard in such place. This enraged the king of Aram. Thus he summoned his officer and demanded of them, "Tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel?" "None of us, my lord the king," said one of his officers, but Elisha the prophet, who is in Israel, had the king of Israel, the very word you speak in your bedroom. Go find out where he is, the king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. The reported came back, he is in Dothan. Then he sent horses and chariots and a strong force there. When they went, the knights and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went out early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my lord, what shall we do? The servant asked. Don't be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are are more than those who are with them. And Elijah replied, open his eyes, O Lord, so that he may see. Then the Lord opened the servant's eye, and he looked and saw the hills full of horse and chariot of fire all around Israel. Elisha, as the enemy came down toward him, Elisha prayed the Lord, strike this army with blindness. So he struck them with blindness as Elisha had asked. Elisha told them, this is not the Lord, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will give you Elisha told them, this is not the Lord, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will lead you to the man you are looking for. And he led from to Samaria. After he entered the city, Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men so they can see. Then the Lord opened their eyes, and they looked. And the third way they were inside Samaria. When the king of Israel saw them, he asked Elisha, shall I kill them, my father? Shall I kill them? Do not kill them, he answered. Would you kill those you have captured with your own sword or bow? They sought food and water before them, so that they may eat and drink, and then only set food and water before them, so that they may eat and drink and go back to their master. So he prepared a great feast for them, and There they many finished eating and drinking. He sent them. He sent them away, and mine returned to their master, so the bench from Aram stopped writing Israel's territory. Famine besieged Samaria. Some time later, Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, mobilized his entire army and marched up and laid siege to Samaria. There was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted to There was a great famine in the city. The siege lasted so long that monkeys had stored the 8 shekels of silver and quarter of a cap of seed first for 5 cents. As the king of Israel was passed by on the wall, a woman cried him, "Help me, my lord king." The king she answered, the woman said to me, "Give me your son, so we may eat him today, and tomorrow we will eat my son." So we cooked my son and ate him. The next day I saw to her, "Give on." When the king heard the woman's words, he tore his went along the wall. The people looked, and they saw that number his robes. He had a section of his body each Monday. He said, "My God, deal with me. Be it ever so severely, if the head of Elisha son of Shaphat remains on his shoulder today." Now Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. The king sent a messenger ahead, but before he ordered someone to cut off my head. Look, when the messengers comes, shut the door, and told it, "Put it shut against me." Is not the sound of his master's footsteps behind him, while he was still walking to them. The messenger came down to me. The king said, "The disaster is from the Lord. Why should I wait for Elisa? Why should I wait for the Lord any longer?" Elisa replied, "Hear the word of the Lord. This is what the Lord says about this time tomorrow. A sale of the finest fur will sell for a shekel, and 2 seahs of barley for a shekel at the gate of Samaria." The officer on whose arm the king was leaning said to the man of God, "Look, even if the man required should open the floodgate of the heavens, could you But the officer on whose arm the king was leaning said to the man of God, "Look, even if the Lord should open the floodgate of the heaven, could this happen? You will see it with your own eyes," answered Elisa. But you will not eat any of it." The seed repeated, Now there were 4 men with leprosy at the entrance of the city gate, and they said to each other, "Why stay here until we die? If we say we will go into the city, the famine is there, and we will die. And if we stay there, he will die, we will die." So that the king we stay there, we will die. So let's go over the camp of the armies and surrender. If they spared us, we live. If they kill us now, then I'll die. What does today from God you? At dusk got up and went to the camp of armies. When they reached the edge of the camp, no one was there, for the word have horses and shall caused the armies to hear the sounds of Charlotte and horses and great army, so that they said to one another, Look, the king of Israel has hired the Hittite and Egyptian king of Ategas. So they got up and played in the dust and abandoned their tent of their horses and donkeys. The man who had leprosy reached the edge of the camp, entered one of the tent and ate and drank. Then they took silver, gold, and crosses, went They returned and entered another tent and took some things from it and hid them also. Then they said to Asa, Then they said to each other, What we're doing is not right. This is a day of good news, and we are keeping it to ourselves. If we wait until they write punishment, 손하지 나. So they called out to the gatekeeper and told them, We went to Samaria. We went into the army camp and no one was free, not a sound over there. Anyone? Not a sound of anyone, only tethered horses and the horses and donkeys and the tent left just as where the gatekeepers did down, and it was reported within the place. The king got up in the collar and Maor said, The king got up in the night and said to his officer, I will tell you what the Arameans have done not to this. By the visual they know he was starving. So they have left a camp behind in the countryside, thinking they will surely come out, and then we will take on alive them into the city. One of his officers answered, "Have you men take 5 of the answered?" So they selected to Charlotte with their forces, and the king sent them after the Arameans with So they were selected to Charlotte with their horses, and the king sent them after the 화금살이었다. 박원진은 이 그만두만처럼 연출인 시간 돕기 위하였다. They followed them as far as the Jordan, and they found the whole of the suit with the clothing and equipment those Arameans had thrown away in their healing flight. So the messengers returned and reported to the king. Then 5 people went out and plundered the camp of the armies. So Sea of the first fleet said to the Israel, and now the king had put the officer on whose arm he rode in charge of gates, and the people trembled him in the gateway, and he died, just as the man of God had foretold when the king came down to his horses. It happened as the man of God had said to the king. Now, seek of the Lord, seek it as the Lord had said. Now the king had put officer on whose man he reigned. I 찾아보지 않으셨지만, and the people trembled him in the gateway, and he died, just as the man of God had foretold when the king came down to his horses. I happened as I can do not this. Came down these horses. I have as a man of the head said to the king, about this tomorrow as there of a sign finest. The officer had said to the man of God, look, if the Lord should open the floodgate of the heaven, could have happened. The man of God had replied, You will see with your eyes, but you will not eat any on it. And that is extract that happened him to him, for the people turned in the gateway of his died.